Hello, my name is Mark Boyer, and it's May 2nd, okay? And a lot of things have happened and things are going to happen real soon in court, okay? Now, for the last few weeks, I've been filing paperwork, dotting my I's and crossing my T's to close in on the fact that I'm challenging the Order of the Garters Trust to abandon colonial rule. I'm calling up for the instruments of this. And in it, I have to show that absolutely everyone has failed to react, okay? Now, this is a fait accompli. I've now filed against a guy called Paul Hancock and a guy called Greg Nelson in the legislature of BC, and Paul Hancock's with the city of Vancouver. And technically the trust falls on them and on the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. This is what goes down. Now, the reality is I have dropped in my lap an opportunity to defend my claim of right just before leaving, and it's a very sweet, very nice little thing I'm doing now. Basically, Zoe, a member of our club, okay, long-standing, a member of our club, signed one of these applications, okay, and on the backside, okay, is an Elections Canada form. It's a standard Elections Canada form saying that, you know, I hereby confirm that I am a qualified elector under the Canada Elections Act, and I have attained the age of 18 years of age, and I'm a Canadian citizen. I am a member of the above-named political party, namely the Marijuana Party of Canada, okay? Now, with this here, okay, declaration signed in your wallet, okay, and this is what we brought before the courts, is Zoe got busted, okay, and she has in her bail undertaking a notice saying that she must abstain from possession of any drug, you know, and she cannot have paraphernalia around her, and it's a breach unless she has a prescription, okay, for marijuana. Now, it does not say medical prescription, and that's a very, very real point. Now, prescription in law is where you prescribe ownership or a claim to having the right, okay? And it's well established in law that, you know, and they don't mention prescription. Now, on the membership for her club, it says here, by subscribing to the Vancouver East Marijuana Party Electoral District Association and following this association's prescribed platform and activity, that we are, in fact and in law, holding a prescription to legally possess cannabis. Okay? And it's a very distinct point. Okay? Now, there is no, as I brought up to the courts when I made the initial presentation on Thursday, okay, and I said to them that, oh sorry, it was Friday, okay, I said to the judge that I belong to the, you know, I'm a loyal opposition from the supremacy of Parliament, and this court recognizes the supremacy of Parliament. Technically, if she objects to what I'm presenting, she has no right to act against it. She must send it to a higher court. Okay, that's how I started the presentation. And it says that can rule on an issue that involves the supremacy of Parliament. I says, so basically what we're doing is by subscribing to the prescribed activity of a political party, which is not twisting the words of the legislation at all, you actually have a prescription to uphold your beliefs in. And that's how the Knights of Columbus were founded. That's how the Orangemen were founded. That's how the Masons were founded. That's how all these societies do what they do, because they're following their prescribed activities and beliefs. Now, so, in regards to Zoe, there's an important point that needs to be made, is that we're not asking to have the charges dropped at this bail variance undertaking. We're asking for the charges to be, for the conditions of her bail undertaking to be recognized, the fact that she has this prescription for cannabis as outlined by a political party and under the supremacy of Parliament. Okay, it's an important point that it's a federal political party, and it really is pertinent in here is if the judge decides to rule against this bail variance. But basically what we want is a line added to her bail saying that she recognizes her club membership as being valid reason for carrying pot only. She can recognize it, or she can forward it to someone else to look into, but the reality is she cannot reject it in law. And which brings up the next big point. In law, there is this law called Section 15, Defense under de facto government. Okay? Now, it's an ancient law. It's been there a long time. And it says there in the case, I'll cite it for case law. You could read it, but it means mumbo jumbo in law, but you know, to the average person. Case law of defense of de facto government. When Germany, and it cites it in the Canadian law book, okay? When Germany invaded France, a general took over the courts, okay? And if a general came up to a judge, and the courts operated, and you know, like the society kept going on in France while they were occupied. Now, a general was in charge of each court branch, okay? Now, all too often, what would happen is they would drag, you know, the Germans would drag someone into the court for treasonous activity, and everybody knew they weren't guilty. They was clearly not guilty, but the general would say, that guy needs to be sent to his gallows. Send him, okay? And Section 15 of the Criminal Code protects that judge, okay? Now, when the occupying force is thrown away, okay, you can't charge those judges because they were being told to do this. Now, this is relevant in Canadian law now, and it's why Bud Oracle asks for what's called a bail, for the commission of the judge, okay? When you ask a judge for their commission, now, where under a de facto government, okay, where I'm going with that is that in 1982, Ronald Reagan declared war on drugs, okay, and contrary, what he did was reaffirm and make one step further from Nixon, who also declared war on drugs back in 1968, okay, but what Reagan did was actually read the War Act, okay, and what's happening is Canada went all along with it at the time. In 1982, we had a Prime Minister Trudeau who really hated pot, okay? Now, the reality is they went along and allowed the courts to be occupied under a Vichy-style government. And 25 years later, they've lost the public trust. They really have, okay? We're operating as if a foreign body is telling us what to do, and Even if the person's not guilty, they have to be found guilty because some guy bankster is telling them to find us guilty. And it's done through contract employees. Go to my website. I talk, I brush across this every time I go to court. And it's real, okay? The whole foundations of democracy is being attacked when they say that the Marijuana Party of Canada can't do what it's doing, cannot protect its members from use of their medicine. It defies, it's like saying, we don't like the opposition, so let's destroy democracy. That's a much deeper issue, and I'll pick it up on another video. Thank you.